And hello again. Welcome back. Cologne isn't going the way I'd love to, but it is what it is. And online finals of CCT is on the horizon. 24 hours left, as always. And here we go. Let's look at the matchups and think what we can do over here. Um, the previous partner fantasy went pretty good. I'd say my expectation of Spirit probably taking it all and pardon, and Portuguese fellas doing really well kind of played out. So that was a right call. However, Xantaris was just farming out of this world and his way is. Um, but yeah, so actually did pretty well. So the call out was there at the end of the day. So all I have to do next time is just pick the correct players. So yeah. Mm, I don't think any of us will expect any other result other than Virtus Pro winning this one. Um, I have no idea who these guys are, but somehow they managed. Right, so easy 2-0 for VP. Then Apex against Nouns. Well, mm, Apex looked decent. I don't think there's any chance for Nouns to, I'd say, even win a map. I will be surprised if they do, but that's not a 2-0. So versus OG, great matchup. It's gonna be pretty close, and So played pretty well. My call out worked out. On the other side, OG, a kind of level above them, but still, this is what you call tier two teams and 1.5 teams, probably more or less on the same page. And uh, for me, no matter which team is gonna win here, at the end of the day, they're gonna lose to Aurora, right? Aurora with the Kenzie and Norby should be taking this one because they play in Eyeballers, which not really the best team in my opinion. Uh, just uh, just farming some money right now. So let me go through the upper bracket once again. VP, Apex, irrelevant matchup, but still slightly more favorite OG. Aurora, Into the Breach versus Zero Tennessee. Uh, have to give a slight edge to ITB, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they're gonna be facing the winner of Movie Star vs Spirit, and of course, Spirit should be winning this one all day long. Um, BNE versus Sinners, gonna be interesting match. Oscar is pretty good old wolf, but I don't think there's gonna be enough firepower for them to actually beat Bad News Eagles. And the last one, I might be up against Anonyma, and MIBR played pretty well. Insani was okay. Safety did really good job in his previous event, but in general, I don't think Anonymous is gonna do any damage to them. So now VP versus Apex. I like the new VP lineup. The only question mark is Kick It because they were not able to find a replacement, so he's still staying around. But I don't think it's gonna be a big problem at this setup. Um, VP have a lot of firepower, and this should still be in the favor of Virtus Pro. So my first upper semi-finalist is Virtus Pro. Now Aurora, as I already mentioned, should be beating either one of them. So that's just my opinion, and Aurora is my second upper semi-finalist. A Spirit all the way to upper semi-final, and well, Bad News Eagles versus MIBR, and this is why I feel the upset can come through, and MIVR have the potential to take down the Bad News Eagles, but I'm still gonna give a slight advantage to BNE. So anything can happen over here, but still slight advantage to BNE. Now the upper semifinals and the finals. So VP versus Aurora, I'm giving advantage to VP, and Spirit versus BNE. Again, I'm giving the slight edge to Spirit. Mm. And in terms of the final, Fury upper final, pardon. For me, it's gonna be Virtus Pro versus Spirit once again, and I believe this will be one of the first encounters where VP is gonna win just because of the experience. That's what I believe in. The lower brackets, after dropping down to lower bracket, I think probably the best chance of going far have MIBR and Apex. These two teams potentially can go all the way to the lower finals and maybe consolidation final. So once again, these are probably the strongest teams on the paper, and well, they should be facing no issue playing against tier 3 teams. So now let's have a look and try to build a team around all this. So Amir, 206k is a great price and is a steal because he can do amazing things. And the second player that I believe should be doing great, especially on this level, is Flit. Flit's probably the best player in VP right now. Uh, so this is gonna be my core because I think at the end of the day, VP gonna take the whole event. Now, if we go down, we should find the second team that I think that's gonna go pretty deep, and it's Spirit. However, if we look at the Spirit prices, Artfrost 208 is a good price, probably worth considering him. And then I'm kind of left scrambling. Um, let's try to consider Lucky as a pick, and then I'm on 183k, which is really bad amount of money to be stuck in these circumstances, because there's nobody you can pick that gonna be worth that money. And for this reason, unfortunately, I have to say goodbye to probably Flit, but I don't want to say that, but it is what it is. And the funny part is that Mir costs actually less than Kickert, when in reality it should be the other way around. So with this fantasy, I believe that HLTV really screwed up, especially with the prices. If we look at the Apex, 217, 223, 215 from Kanito, these prices are just horrible. And once again, ITB is it worth picking them for like one match or two games? I don't know. On the other side, we have Bad News Eagles that potentially can go all the way either through the upper bracket or they can drop down and still do well in the lower bracket. So mm, potentially looking either Synapse or GXX, not the worst part, but I really want to stick with Artfrost. And unfortunately for me, this is quite tough scenario. So I can try to fit me Artfrost and maybe go for uh, pairing him up with a chopper, and still 392 left. Not the worst amount of money, but at the end of the day, I want to pick Flit, and then I'll have 172k left, which kind of gives me only one option, Shine. But again, if we look at the stats, if we look at the matches they played, we're not going to see great numbers. Individual matches. Here we go. Actually, this, I don't know. Red room. So kind of bad stats all day long. This guy, there's no point of picking him at all. And at the end of the day, if only I have to change, let's say for fame, which gives me extra 5k, so 177, and still kind of left with the same options. B-Stick, they have the first game against BNE. It's kind of horrible matchup. So all these prices are pretty bad. So unfortunately, I'll have to get rid of this gentleman. Try to stick with Flit, and in case if I try to fit GXX and Synopsy, I will have some money left. And these fellas have a really good chance to go far as well. And 185, which gonna allow me to pick Neofrag. For one game, I don't think it's gonna be good enough. And next game versus Aurora, I don't know, might be worth it, might not. Lucky 183, Corsac. I'm not a big fan of any of these picks. However, um, fortunately, I don't really have any other options. Let's try to diversify. Let's try to get Art Trust in and 177k. 177 is enough for still same place. If I get rid of Flit and let's say get Kicker, 185. 185 is bad again. Uh, let's say Neofrag. Uh, I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. This is a very poor team. But once again, I want to Flit and Mirror in my team, and probably the best option over here is to pick Synopsy. Then 385 left. Uh, is really bad. Let's say I'll try Lucky, and who's gonna be left? 202. Um, Neofrag Nexa. Let's say Chopper. Horrible teams. Horrible. 8k. It looks like I have no other options rather than go with the uh, with Bad News Eagles. But anyway, at the end of the day, they do have a chance to advance to the upper finals. But I kind of hate this, but I hate it and I don't hate it because like Lucky doesn't really play well ever, and they will play eyeballers, then they'll be facing OG or so. Kind of bad matchups all way long. I don't know. But in terms of Bad News Eagles, they do have a chance of advancing pretty far. And again, I kind of hate this. I know. I feel like that I have to go for some sort of a gamble. Maybe Scenary in that case, but he's always playing really poor as well. Scenary, and then only because I really want to pick out Trust as well. 182k again. There's no option to pick any decent players unless you think that Sinner's gonna go like pretty far from the lower bracket, which potentially can work out. But again, I don't know. I kind of not kind. Okay, I really hate this. But if I try to go around Spirit and try to build it through that route, then get Mir and kick it, I'll be with 165. So same thing all day long. And if I go this way and pick him, 392, let's say Synopsys GXX. That's a solid lineup. Unfortunately, two teams are in the same side of the bracket. It is what it is. So there isn't pretty much stuff to balance. So if I have to pick between Scenery and Lucky, uh, I have more faith in Lucky, right? Then on the other side, once again, I want to pick Mir, and is what it is, but I'll have to stick with two players from BNE. So I know this probably not gonna win the whole event, but that's what my pre-built team looked like, and I can't really figure out anything at the moment better when all these prices are so screwed up, right? So these are event details, so it's gonna be all the way, and well, is what it is. I just hope for the best that VP gonna play pretty well and they're gonna take it all. And on the other side, we don't see many of my picked players as a permanent picks. So that's my team. That's what I think. So about all this screwed up fantasy. And as always, let me know what you think.